the volume. Turn up the volume. You've arrived at the destination for all things Kentucky. This is the Bleed Blue Network Podcast.
Hey BBN, welcome back to another episode of BBN Ladies Unleashed. I have two co-hosts with me tonight, Michele. Michele, how are you?
Well, I'm doing much better now that most of the snow is gone.
And guys, we have a new co-host today. Paige is joining us. Paige, how are you today?
I'm good. I'll say most of the Twitter people who know me on there know me because of my smack talking that I'm always doing on there.
Yes, girl. Yes, we love it.
She's got the good nervous giggle thing going too, which is kind of funny.
Like, hey, this is Paige's first podcast, okay? So, so why did you want to join the podcast? Like, what made you respond to that tweet I put out? Like, what was the thing?
Oh my gosh! So I am like a lifetime. Well, like most Kentucky fans, I'm a lifetime Kentucky fan. You know, like my parents. I was born and raised in Kentucky. My mom, her favorite player ever is Kenny Skywalker. And she was 9 months pregnant with my sister and walked to the very tip top of Rupp Arena to watch him. So I had, no.
I don't even do that.
Yeah. So shout out to Deb and Mont. They are the ultimate. Like if you were, I'm from a very small town, Eastern Kentucky, and if you were to go and you were to ask anybody there, about my parents, it's always, oh, they're diehard Kentucky fans. So, I was born and raised into it. My boyfriend, when we actually met, he has a dog. He had a dog when we met, and very first date we met, and I met his dog, and his dog's name's Duke. And I said, I have to ask you. I was like, is your dog named after the basketball team? And he said no, and I said good, because we would have just went ahead and ended this now, because I was
already over.
A Tampa fan home to my parents.
I think your mom would appreciate my Kenny Walker story. So back in the day when I was writing for Cameron Mills and I was in the media, I can't remember which game this was. That detail doesn't even matter. But in the second half, I was late getting back up to my seat, and because I was waiting for more popcorn in the media room and fresh coffee. So I had my coffee and my popcorn, and I head to the elevator that takes us up to our level. And just as the doors are closing, somebody sticks their hand in and they stop the doors, and it's Kenny Walker. I'm like, oh my. And so he gets in the elevator. It's just me and him. And I just sat there and I went, I'm media and I'm not supposed to be a fangirl, but
How you not fangirl though?
I know. And I said, and I told him that, I'm not supposed to fangirl, but here we are. And so he said, you have your phone? And I went, yeah. He took my phone and he said, now come on in here, and got a selfie with us.
Oh my God.
And I thought that was just so, that night I posted it on Facebook, and by gosh, if he didn't share it and repost, made a new friend. And I was like, how cool is that? So he's a really cool guy, besides being a good player to have as a favorite player. So just tell he's way.
You did get to meet him once, because my little town, there's a gas station, and we know the owners. We've known them, my entire life. I actually worked there for a little bit, and they know how much of a fan my mom is. And so he was going around. I think he had or has a charity or a scholarship or something that he did, and he would go around different places and get donations and stuff. And so he showed up, and they called my mom, and she was in her garden, and she said, let me put my clothes on, and she ran down there, just mud all over her, and she has a picture, and I think she probably fangirled out that day. I would have loved to have seen it in person.
Oh my God, that's so cool. I love that so much. Yeah, Kenny he's a cool guy. He always seems cool.
Really, really, really freaking tall.
Mm-hmm.
really tall.
Really, really freaking tall.
He is. I mean, you
Um,
don't, you read it like, they're whatever, but then you stand next to him and you go, really? But
mhm.
that's like standing next to Willie Cauley-Stein. I got to
Oh
tell
yeah, when I met him, I
you,
felt, and I'm 5'10". I am not short by any means, and I think Silly High Stein, and I feel like I was a foot tall. I swear.
and his waist, I kid you not, is like 18 inches over because he's so scrawny. But yeah, that has nothing to do with anything.
No, okay, that's fine. You know what? It's fine. It's a podcast. Who cares what we do? We do
There
what
we
we
go.
want, right?
Yeah.
So because this is a women's podcast, we are going to talk about the ladies team for UK because y'all they're kicking ass right now. Like, end of story. It is what it is.
They
Um,
are.
they are 18-2. They played tonight. They beat Alabama, number 22 team in the country. I did not get to watch all of the game because I had to go to my oldest pep game for her school 'cause she's in the band. So, did you guys watch it? What were your thoughts? Kind of, what do you think?
Well, I guess one of the things that struck me, and this was in the second quarter, and the game had been, Alabama, yeah, they had gotten like a 3-point lead, and I'm like, this is going to be tighter than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. They'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, they hit 3 consecutive threes, and it wasn't just like they hit 3 consecutive 3-point shots. I'm talking highly contested, people all over them like white on rice. No way. I mean, you couldn't even see their hands with the ball, and somehow it came out of nowhere, and it was nothing but net. And after that happened, then they just kind of went on a little tear, and I was like, it was like kind of watching Kobe Bryant the other night, it just like everything, you knew whatever they threw up, it was going in. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
always super impressed with their defense. They don't make anything easy for the other team, which I think is one of their greatest qualities. And I don't know if you saw this week, the Coach Brooks bobblehead has been released. And so they presented one to him at practice. And he was sitting there and he looked at it and he went,
He is like so nonchalant about like everything. He's just like, yeah, it's cool. It is what it is. Like, I'm Kenny Brooks. What does it matter? Like, it's like, he just doesn't
But
like.
the
He's just
players
so
are like,
like chill.
can we have a practice with your head just doing that up and down?
I have just been so impressed with him. Like I I will admit that I've never been like super into girls basketball just because it's just not as fast paced as men's basketball. But this year I've noticed like I didn't watch the game tonight just because I was with my daughter and she is in her she's 2.5, so she's here there everywhere and but just like going back and like looking at it on Twitter and on Facebook and stuff and seeing them win and they keep winning and it's I know a few people were interested to see how they would do against Alabama 'cause I think Alabama girls are a pretty decent team, but he has just been so impressive with how he's built his roster, his first year coming in and his wins and I think and maybe it's just the Wildcat fan in me that we really did hit the jackpot with coaches this year,
We
boys
did.
and girls. I mean,
Yeah.
And they
he
were
just did a
both
great job.
they both had that same big hurdle about having to just about reconstruct an entire roster.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's not a small task. But now you said you didn't watch the one because it wasn't as fast paced. And this, boy, we're going to get a mini rant now.
Oh man, we're gonna have multiple rants,
Oh, yeah.
multiple rants tonight.
We're
I
getting
love
Perfect.
the rant. I'm here for it.
Okay. Well, it's what for years it was always about how the men and their the basics, the basic skills in basketball that those have slid because they want to do the fancy dunks and
Mm-hmm.
all this other stuff. They want to get the Sports Center highlights, and they've forgotten about fundamentals. And I'm like, then why aren't you watching the women? Because the
Mm-hmm.
women focus on fundamental basketball. They do that stuff right. They hit free throws. They have ball movement. They understand pick and rolls. I mean, that they get that, and that's what it's all about. And okay, they don't have the dunks. So what? A dunk counts the same number of points as a layup. Period.
It just might not
So,
look as fancy, right?
I've been following the women for quite some time, and then when I was in the media, I had the season pass for the women, so I was right down on the floor, which was almost got killed at a Tennessee game once, but John Long saved me. So, I mean, a basketball coming right at my face. One of those Tennessee behemoths blocked a shot, and there's the ball, and it's like, and I'm like, oh God, and I can't even react. And John leans over and smacks the ball out, so I didn't get clobbered in the face. But
in case you're wondering, BBN, Michelle just reenacted how her face was looking as
yes,
well as her actions. And you guys won't be able to see it. And you know what? I'm sorry for that because it was low-key hilarious. But it's fine.
yes,
I would
well,
love to watch the girls live this year.
Oh, sorry,
They
the
just,
coughing.
I'm really hoping that, it seems like the fans are really turning out for them too. Like they're really, getting behind them and stuff. And I think that they've done that also with volleyball. I think that I've seen that they were really turning out. So I love that, the fans are like really getting out there and like getting to the games because all the teams, they deserve all the support. And I think Kentucky is an everything school. They say all these other schools are everything schools. So
toward that
I think
end, the women's gymnastics, they're playing Auburn tomorrow night. That's playing. They have a meet with Auburn tomorrow. It's on Excite Night. They sold out of tickets for that.
that's amazing.
Awesome. Team 51, I think is what they're going by, right? Team 51.
So
I think.
this is
Let me see. Let me look at this all total stats here for this girls game. Wow, there were like no free throw shot. What? That's crazy. There were only 17 free throws total shot for the game.
well, and a lot of that, well, not a lot, but at least some of that can be attributed to the fact they play in quarters versus playing in half. So it
That's true.
takes longer to
True.
get to a bonus.
We had 9 3-pointers to their
3 of them in
5.
about 1 minute. I mean, just
All right. Well, hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Yeah, they are 18-2.
undefeated at home.
Undefeated at home. They've only lost one in-conference game.
That was kind of a sad game because they never quite, they started a little bit off center and they finished way off center.
Yeah. They have a huge game Sunday, though.
Yes, they do.
They're playing at Oklahoma on Sunday, and Oklahoma's number 13. That's a massive game. Massive game for them. So.
We'll just go ahead and manifest it now. They're going to win.
Hey, yes. Yeah, that's a massive game for them.
Take his bobbing game on the road.
Their last home game is the Tennessee game, and I would love to go to that one.
That'd be a great game.
That's February 27th is their last home game, so that'll be fun. But yeah, no, I can't sing enough praises for the women's team and what they're doing. For Kenny Brooks, Georgia Amore, both Claras, I should say, Amelia Hassett. She's gotten so much better as the years went on. Like when I first watched her play against Louisville early this year, she seemed kind of like reserved a little bit on the court, kind of shy, kind of like she wasn't for sure about her playing with the team as much. But you can see now she's playing. She's much more comfortable. She's more aggressive. She's rebounding a lot better. Her defense is great. Like I love watching her develop as the season goes. And then like Tiani Key she's ridiculous. Like she didn't even have that many points this game, but I know that there had to have been a focus on her, I'm sure, because of what she can do on the court. And then Georgia Amore, and well, good luck guarding her in any sort of capacity. So like she's
breaking ankles since 2016.
But yeah,
this so is not girls basketball, but I did see on Twitter, moving to Lexington, I feel like I've been versed more in the sports that I didn't realize that Kentucky had, like rugby and stuff. And
oh, hold on, I think she got a call or something. Shoot mute. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Sorry, Mike. But yeah, I just got a call in the middle of that. Rude. Okay, can you hear me now? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear
you're
me?
good.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got a call right in the middle of that. But I saw that the hockey team is having their final home game on Saturday. And so I was like, I didn't even know that we had a hockey team.
So,
It's
But
not a scholarship sport, so
yeah,
that's you don't
yeah.
hear a lot about they have a rodeo team.
A what?
well, I
Rodeo.
didn't know that.
Girl, what? A rodeo team?
Yeah. Well, rodeo club, yes. At least they did. I haven't checked in the last couple of years, but yes, they
Okay,
have a
that's really
rodeo
cool
club.
though. So, thing about hockey that I find interesting and really fun is they tip off, or is it tip off or drop the
Face
puck,
off. You
face
face
off,
off.
something like that at
That's all I
midnight.
know about hockey. You
At
face off, you
midnight,
have a
yeah.
stick,
They,
and you
they
beat
play
people up.
really late games, which
I
I
had
think is
no
freaking
idea.
Yeah.
cool. But did you guys see the picture of the hockey player like just with the L's down and just like all over the screen?
Yes, that was the post that I saw, and I was like, oh, and I saw that the guy was like, he was trying to get someone to shout him out. He's like, this is our last, home game for the season, and
Mhm.
they're trying to get like people to come out. I was like, I didn't even realize we had like a hockey
Yeah.
team, but yeah, I love that they do it at midnight. It's like a little secretive club almost or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
that
really
was it
fun.
last year, year before that they actually qualified for national tournaments where they had to get on
I think it was
social.
last year.
Yeah, so they were on social
Yeah.
media trying to raise money
Mhm.
so that they could go. I mean, because that's
Yeah.
just said they get no money from the school, so and they did get to go, but that was entirely on donations from fans that
Hmm.
got the transportation and lodging. There we go. I knew there was a word
Yeah.
for that.
And then the rugby team, I think they won like back-to-back national titles for rugby, which is crazy to think about. But I kind of like low-key follow them a little bit, so I like see when people like commit and stuff, and then like when they post about winning, I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, good job, boys. But yeah, no, it's cool to like see all the other sports
Men's tennis
thriving.
is like on a tear the last few years, and they
Hmm.
won another match tonight. I mean, they're really good.
The track team is good too. Like it's all cats everything. That's what it is. All cats everything.
There we go.
Learn everything.
I mean, you can't beat that. Um, but okay, listen, we need to move on because I cannot wait to talk about the Tennessee game. Okay,
Oh, gosh.
listen, down Lamont Butler, down Kirk Reese still, and we essentially down Andrew Carr. That didn't mean nothing. That meant nothing. Nothing. Okay, nothing because Jackson Robinson and Kobe Brea and Anthony Almanor and my boy Amari was like, it's cool. We got this. Like, not a problem.
And
Not a problem.
away, all the way.
I know. I listen. If I had fell that hard, I'd still be on the ground.
Oh my gosh. When
Okay.
he fell, I think all of BBN as a
Oh,
collective probably like
I
I
literally
stopped
was like,
breathing for a moment. I
oh
was
my
like,
god, I
I was
couldn't
like, not
breathe.
him too. We
one of the
Couldn't breathe.
best, Chet White, who's the photographer at UK
Mhm.
Athletics, he got the best picture of
Oh,
Owen
like
when he was exactly horizontal. But the way cool thing, and Cameron had posted, he's like, this is proof he couldn't be a soccer player because he fell down and got right back up and was as I thought was hilarious.
yeah, it just shows
Uh,
him over there and he's like,
I
I'm
said,
fine, I'm
if you
fine.
saw the picture, when he was directly sideways, his eyes were on the floor. So he was preparing how to land, even how he could that quick reaction. And I said, I will guarantee you that is how come he did not get injured because he found some way. Don't land on your elbow because that's no good. But this leads me, not this play, but the Tennessee game. This is my mini rant, I promise
okay,
you.
another mini rant number 2 of the day. All right, lay it on us.
I'll make it really quick, but
Okay,
I
okay.
ended up staying off Twitter most of the day on Tuesday because, and it actually started on Sunday, I think, but there were so many people that were, oh, this is going to be an ugly game. And now, Butler's out and Crease is still out. And who knows about Andrew Carr? I'm not even going to watch the game. We're going to get thrashed so bad. And then we're going to lose to Arkansas. It's just like, it's one thing. And I've done this before. It's one thing to say, it doesn't look promising for our chances with all these things.
Right,
However,
right.
especially with Mark Pope, because of him as a player and knowing what his mindset was,
Yeah.
you don't ever mark these cats off. You don't,
No.
because
No.
you cannot measure heart. You cannot
Right.
measure determination. And by all means, call them soft again. Please call them soft. Tell them they cannot do something and they do it 100 times better.
Yeah.
So for all you people that you weren't going to watch the game, I hope you didn't. I hope you missed every last minute of it.
No,
And
no,
don't
those
tell
are
me
the
how proud you are of the team because you weren't proud of them. You had no faith in them. So turn in your fan card. Not telling you how to fan, but turn in your fan card
yes,
and get off my
ma'am.
lawn. That's all I got to say.
That goes with the rant that I dropped, that I had with on the All UK Ball podcast, and the people that are like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Paige, and you know what I'm talking about.
The
You
group
know
chat.
exactly what I'm talking about.
The group chat.
Oh my God, it's not even just them. Like I see it all over the place, but like,
Me
what's
and
that?
Salena are in this group chat that I'm pretty sure it's just us and a bunch of men.
It
I think we are
is.
the only women. And I told them, let me tell you, when I tell y'all I manifested this, I told them the night that when they first announced Butler was out, the whole group chat was just, that's it, we're done. We're done. And I said, we're going to win. And I kept that up. I kept that energy. And the whole
You're like you were standing on
time,
business, on
the
business.
whole time, this group chat was, and even during the game, they were just
Mm-hmm.
on and on and on. And I finally told one point, I was like, this is the most bipolar group chat I've ever been in. And then I ended up, I think, commenting on one of your posts where somebody was saying something, and I said, I will always say the Cats are going to win until they don't. We can be down by 50 in the second half, and I'm going
We're
to say
still
we're going to
winning.
win.
We're still
Like,
winning.
until that buzzer hits, I'm going to say we're going to win. And I'll just put it out there. And of course, they always want to argue, as fans, we should be able to criticize. And I'm like, yes, you should be able to criticize. And we do criticize the fact that we had what, an 8-point advantage, and then we were down 3. Yes, criticize that, but they do it in such a lot of people, not just a group chat, but a lot of people do it in such a bipolar way. It's like, y'all realize we're going into the second half down by 3, where Gonzaga, all those, we went in.
Gonzaga was 16, Duke was 9.
Double digits.
Like,
we go into half of them down by double digits, and I'm like, you've seen what we do second half. So the fact that we're down by 3, like, I am not sweating over here that.
No, not at all.
I wasn't sweating over that, but people.
Even more amazing by what they did in this game, and I do attribute a lot of it to coming out to 4 straight threes. And when that happens, that gets in their head, and they're going to keep making threes. But they did that at Tennessee. They didn't have the friendly the friendly fans at Rupp. Although they did have a good number of fans in Tennessee, because you love nothing more than to hear a "Go Big Blue" on a big ugly orange court.
That was probably my favorite part of that night.
Yeah, I love Jackson at the point. I do. I love Jackson Robinson at the point. I think it changes completely how teams have to guard us, right? But putting Amari Williams as the actual point guard, genius coaching move.
I called him a point center all night. I mean,
what other 7-foot, 260-pound big man do you see doing that consistently? And then the pass he had to Ansley in the corner was disgusting.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was like, okay, Amari, you can stop showing off now, okay? Like, what are we doing?
And the other thing, with us hitting all the threes, this shows an amazing lack of discipline by Barnes in Tennessee. You don't make up all the points in one shot, and they were just jacking up threes.
45.
45. I know, it's like,
45.
What are you doing? What the heck are you doing?
Like, you guys are not a 3-point shooting team in the first place. Like, what are you doing?
And I was saying that, and then I was like, but go ahead, keep on doing it, because it works.
Keep shooting them.
Yeah, I text my friend Kyle, because he's like, I'm watching the game because they're winning, and I was like, I'm not worried, like, I'm chill, like, and I was not at all worried. I'm not anxious about the game. Like, I didn't move from my spot. Okay, let me be very clear. I sat down, I didn't move, but like, I wasn't like, oh my god, like, I was like, we're chill, we're Gucci, like, it doesn't matter. The boys played also within themselves. Like, they never got sped up, they never got freaked out, they didn't try to do too much. Like, they played within the game plan and within themselves, and it was beautiful to watch.
And that's what you get from a team full of veterans. And people will downplay the fact that they haven't played together as a unit. That matters.
Yep.
Well, they've played together for 2 months, isn't that enough? Whatever. But the fact they never panic. I have not seen them panic one single time. Even when it's falling apart, even when you're losing, we won't talk about Ohio State, but even when it's not working, I said I wouldn't talk about it. But it was still just business as usual. We'll run our plays. Okay, the spacing was off, this was off, but they weren't in a panic mode. They were just, that's what gets you through March. That is exactly what gets you through March. Now, we don't have to tell Tennessee. They don't get through March anyway. Because that was one of my favorite things after the game. Well, you really celebrate a January conference regular season win? We go, well, sure we do. But like, we also celebrate March wins. But, oh, sorry, you all don't know anything about that.
I want to shout out Colin Chandler as well.
Yeah.
Listen, I was defending him. I was fighting with anybody about Colin Chandler. Like you were dogging him, and I'm on your butt. Okay, I am. Listen, and it's like, well, he's terrible. He can't score. Sometimes a player does not need to score to make an impact. Okay, his defense and his hustle was everything. He had Chaz Lanier on skates. That boy was frustrated as hell that Colin Chandler was dogging him the entire game.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, he was doing the dirty work that's not going to show up on stat book, but that changed the game completely. That's what he did.
He can do like the most beautiful, like I was saying in that chat, I was like, Colin Chandler believes in God and the no look pass, because he will be looking completely somewhere else and pass it, and he just executes it beautifully every time.
Yeah.
Like I was very much with you and Rando whenever I was listening to your podcast the other day with, people dog Colin Chandler, but they don't realize that he did go 2 years without
even
playing
touching
ball.
a basketball.
Like if you go back and watch his highlights, he's a great player. He has, he definitely needs to get back into it, and I do think this year will definitely be a great build up for him. Him, not only him, him and Trent and Travis, all three. Trent, great game. Like I love to see him get in there and hustle. I love to see, there's just something about the Kentucky boys. You love to see it anyways, but. I know that everybody was a little nervous. We were throwing in our freshmen, and it was like, what do we, we started out so great with the starting five. Like, why are we throwing in our freshmen already? But especially in a game like Tennessee, but they all seem to flourish.
Mark Pope believes in them and his mindset. I believe in you. You can do this. Okay, if coach says I can do it, I can do it. Yeah. And the other thing about Colin is, he didn't play for 2 years. He was on a mission trip, which that's what they do, BYU. And when you go on a mission trip, I can promise you, you see things that are just heart crushing. And when you've lived with that for 2 years and you've seen people that just have literally, life and death challenges day in, day out, it kind of makes a basketball game not so scary. Well, here, dog him. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? I get a foul.
I like the little shoulder check he gave Lanier, though.
Oh, that.
And he was like, "Yeah, what's up? What's up? Do you see? I'm here. I'm here." Like, and eventually he will score. Okay, eventually he will get there. But if he can give us 10 to 15 minutes of hard-nosed, in-your-face defense on someone's best player, that's all we need.
If he waits till the NCAA tournament to break out a 30-point game, so be it.
Like Marcus Lee, right? Marcus Lee, Michigan game.
We'll take it in any place.
Like, that was Marcus Lee's game, right? Like, he didn't do that all year, and then suddenly he was unstoppable. Like, and that's the thing is, it's. I think it's because the BBN is like, oh, well, he's a freshman, he's terrible. Y'all, we have been spoiled rotten with good freshmen. We have made our bread and butter with good freshmen for so long. And, like, now we're actually seeing what true freshmen look like, but it's okay. It's okay. Like, I trust Mark Pope to put together a good team year after year after year. So, like, I'm not worried about a freshman looking like an actual freshman.
This is how I grew up with the Cats. It was actually when I first started following the Cats and knew what I was doing. I mean, I first started listening to them in my grandfather's bedroom on the radio. We'd listen to Kaywood, and I was in love with Dan Issel. Oh, I was. I mean, okay, I was 6, but I was in love with him. And I figured he'd wait for
Valid.
me, but he didn't. And I was actually on a podcast with him a few years ago, that was like bucket list. I'm on a podcast with Dan Issel, and I said, got a bone to pick with you. I was head over heels in love with you at 6, and I knew you would wait for me to grow up and marry me. And no, you took off with some cheerleader and married her. And that was one of my, greatest moments as a UK fan. But that's what we got to see. The freshmen didn't even play. They used to have the freshman team, the Kitty Cats. And so you got to watch them, and you thought, oh man, look, we're going to get to add to our roster. But they had a year experience playing together and against other like competition. And then when the freshmen could actually play on varsity, it changed the game, but you also knew they were developing. And then, when Rex Chapman left after his sophomore year, you're like, egads, how could that happen? And Jamal Mashburn leaving after his junior year, those were they were so much the exception. You just knew everybody was there for 4 years. And so
Yep.
getting something out that you're going to see 2 or 3 years, it's like, welcome to my world. That's, I feel like I'm back in my second childhood. Even my third
I feel
childhood.
like
I'm old
I feel
enough
like
for a third
people.
childhood.
Oh no, you're not.
63. I'll own it. I'm 63.
I think people don't realize on the outside like what a big task it was for us to like completely rebuild from the ground up. Like, because I couldn't tell you a single team that I know of in the last few years that had to start with 1 recruit and 2 walk-ons. I was looking at I was on the NCAA website earlier, was reading up about Marquette and how they said that they haven't pulled from the transfer portal, I think, since 2022-2023 season, that their 5 starters have played a combined 555 games together. And I mean, that's like crazy, like combined, that's what they played. And I'm like, that's amazing that you can have a team that sticks together like that. I'm like, from the out, and of course they're doing great, I'm pretty sure. But, from the outside looking in, I'm like, people dog the fact that we have, oh, they're not getting all these recruits, or that, we didn't last year, all of our recruits left. But it's like, we're doing so great with someone who started from a completely blank, like that. It is very, I will say, as a Kentucky fan, I went in knowing this was going to be I was like, this is going to be a rebuilding year. I'll be happy, if we go in and win a couple games and even make the tournament and just, get us started. And this has just exceeded my expectations of taking these guys who, and this is probably a first for us in a while where we've had veteran players and transfers, because maybe the transfer portal wasn't as hot, back a couple years ago, but I've loved to see. I have been so impressed, and I've loved to see what he's built, out of nothing.
I mean, we had years where we would get 1 or 2 veteran players. Like you had the Reed Travis, you had Nate Sestina, you had Derek Willis who hung around. But to have this many, no, we haven't.
Right.
And I think the thing that really triggered this season, when you start off and you beat Duke.
Oh yeah. And
And
no one thought we were going to beat Duke. Nobody.
which is fascinating because, I've heard all year about how much the ACC sucks. It's Duke, Louisville, and a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
And so Duke keeps beating a bunch of crap, and they just keep getting elevated. Like, look how great they are. Come to the SEC. Play in the please play the SEC. Please.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't happen. But and as much as it pains me, have to give Louisville credit because they've had a massive turnaround season, and like Coach Kelsey. How did that happen?
I know. I like him, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like,
I'm like, don't tell anyone, but I like Pat Kelsey.
I know. He's a class act, and he's doing things. He's damaging the rivalry is what he's doing, because it's kind of hard to hate the team when their coach is nice. I
still hate their fans.
Well,
They're still. I love Pat Kelsey. I still hate the Louisville fans because they're still
because you
horrible.
can't spell delusional without UL. You just
Oh,
can't.
oh, oh. No, you know what? Pat Kelsey he's like his own little separate box from everything else. Okay, that's just it's what it is. Like him and Mark Pope are like different, and I love that though because it means that the rivalry is going to be good for years to come. It's not gonna be like super one sided like it has been. It's good for the state of basketball for Kentucky, obviously, right? Like the state flourishes when the basketball teams are flourishing. Okay, like it just is what it is. Um, God, we just went so far off topic. Like y'all, this is
Sorry.
wild.
I was
No,
born
I'm
with the
here
gift
for
of
it. It's
the app,
fine.
and I just
It,
use it.
it is
That's what makes
ADHD to
this
the
better.
best
It's
of the
like,
best, and I love it.
yeah, I mean that's when you have
Um,
an organic conversation. That's
mhm.
Paige. Welcome to the Word Podcast.
It's just
This is
funny because
how
we're
it
like
works.
Tennessee sucks, and they were like, by the way, we love Pat Kelsey. Like, hello,
Yeah.
But we still hate Louisville fans,
Yeah.
we
and
hate them.
Tennessee
Yes.
The
fans
fans
are
suck.
categorically the worst of any
Oh my
in
gosh,
all of
the
college
worst of
basketball.
any.
Yeah,
The worst.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Okay,
No,
but
okay.
we need that.
I have met some cool Tennessee fans. I will give them props. Okay, like my boy Code Orange, super cool guy, super
You
nice
get a
guy.
diamond in the rough every now and then.
Okay, rest of them though, no, we're hands on site. Okay, like I don't care.
I got three
Um,
members at my church. These three gentlemen. One of them is one of my pastors, and love him to death. But I told it's like he's raising 5 children, and he puts them in orange crap. And we've told him it's just.
good color on anybody.
Well, I told him. I said it's that inside of a pumpkin puke orange. There we go. We know that from that video. But I do. I know three very classy, intelligent. Well, intelligent except for their school choice, but they do exist. Just not
Yeah,
certainly not on Twitter.
I
I
Vol
will
guess.
Twitter,
say, like,
Vol
back
Twitter
to the
is the
Louisville
app.
game or the Tennessee game just a little bit, trying to steer us back to the Tennessee game. I really hope that I was very happy with Kobe. I feel like I don't. Maybe it's just me looking from the outside in, but it seems like sometimes he gets in these slumps, and
He had been
and I
a
don't know if like
subscriber.
mentally it does something because
Mhm.
I've never played basketball. I did competitive cheer, but I really was hoping, we seen it with Jackson earlier, I think in the year where he kind of was getting into a slump and then he kind of broke out of that. So I'm really hoping that this was like Kobe's like he hit every single shot he shot up, he hit it, and I'm like hoping that really propelled him to like get that confidence back and like really because he's beautiful shooter. The moment he does that step back and he shoots, I'm just like I know it's going in because he's such a beautiful shooter.
Now he did say, he acknowledged that he had not been shooting well, and it was a welcome thing. And I've recognized this too, is that when he hasn't been making the shots, he's been doing other things. He picked
Hmm.
up his defense. He's been, with helping with ball movement. So the fact that he keeps doing that and he's not, he doesn't have his head bowed down because he's not making
Yeah.
shots. It's not that slump that we've seen from a lot of very talented freshmen when their big, skill isn't working, and then they get Patty, and then nothing works.
The shot that he made
Man,
that over, I don't know who it was over, but it like bounced around and went in, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Like that was perfect. I'm good. Like I don't care. I'm fine. But no, anytime we can beat Tennessee at Tennessee, that's the best thing in the world. Like it is, and I think we've won the last 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 there. I think on their home court.
3 in a
Yeah.
row, I know for sure.
Yeah,
And
like
Ansley, he deserves all his flowers for that Tennessee game because
I
he
love
was.
Ansley.
Ainsley is one of those people. I told his girlfriend on Twitter. I said I don't know where he's popped off with the braids and the headband that's like turned him into a completely different player,
Make it.
but he has
Yeah.
just popped off lately, and I love to see it because
Hmm.
Ainsley is just one of those like hidden gems where he came in. He was I think like a 3-star or
It
something.
was
He was like
316 in the transfer portal.
yeah,
And Mark
not
Pope was like,
ranked
no, we
super
need this guy.
high, and
Yeah.
he's come in and it's like he's got it, got into himself and like just I love watching him knock them down because I love that not
Listen,
really underdogs. He's a great player, but
he's like, he gets like I tweeted about it. It's like demon time. Like he talks mad trash. I'm here for it. I'm like, talk your shit, boy, because you were hitting them the entire time. And he might be one of the best corner shooters I've ever seen. Like if he shoots from the corner, I'm like, oh, it's going in. Money every time. Like I have that much confidence in his ability to shoot from the corner every time.
But it's real funny because you mentioned the hair, the braids and the new hairstyle and everything. Now you remember last year when Antonio changed his braids and then he had an off game. And there was this little segment of BBN like, hey, maybe you spent less time doing your hair, more time practicing. Now, all of a sudden this year, hairstyles don't matter. Isn't that funny? Just had to bring
Now
that.
if they would quit doing TikToks and spend more time practicing, every time we lose, that's what I see circling around.
Yeah, if they do anything. Yeah, they went to
Them
see
boys
Hamilton.
dance.
Well, why weren't they practicing free throws? Because they
Yeah.
already had. I don't,
Why were they out there getting engaged? I'm like, you do realize these are still like human beings who
Like they
like
still have a life outside of
go and do
basketball. Like
things.
y'all,
It took them an hour to do that. Like they didn't have 23 other hours in the day to do something. Good grief, come on. But
listen,
I
moving
love
on, because we got to keep this thing moving on.
you
Yeah.
know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The one that I had with Brando was an hour long. I don't care. It's fine.
That's okay.
No, okay. So obviously get the win in Tennessee. Beautiful win.
Because I'm setting up for my big rant.
Oh my God, I cannot wait. I have a feeling I know what it is, and I am here for it.
I'm sure
but,
I bet you do.
But Saturday, Arkansas comes to town. Now listen, Arkansas as a whole is terrible.
Yeah.
And I am so thankful that we don't have that team here. Because BBN is bad now. We are bad now. I could not imagine the destructive level of nuclear chaos that would happen if that was our team. Like, I'm pretty sure we all would have melted down and broken something. Like, we burned buildings or whatever if that was our team. Because it's not good. It's not. Like, it's awful. Like, there is no continuity to that offense whatsoever.
It honestly kind of makes me sad, and like as much as I like don't want them to succeed, it's like almost like I kind of like quit like rooting against it to the point that I kind of feel sorry. I kind of feel sorry almost.
You
But
get
like I
no
still want them
pity,
to lose. Don't
Paige.
get me wrong. Every time
No
they
pity.
lose, we were
None.
watching them play the last game, and I was like, please God, just lose. But it's almost like because I will say that I will admit that I think I was just too accustomed to Cal. So when he left, I was more nervous about getting recruits and pulling new people. And so I was nervous because I was like, anyone that they bring in, the fan base is gonna like chew them up, spit them out, And so it was rough for me to like kind of accept it. But then once I did accept it, I was like, this definitely was the best, and I respect what he did here. But it's like you kind of don't want to see him go out the way he's going out like that. It's kind of just sad at this point.
But I think that's a culmination of what UK fans have been screaming, like the fall off, right? Like the inability to adjust to today's game is kind of what people have been like talking about. But Michele, I need to do your rant before I tell you. Kind of, we dive like break the game down more though. So the big rant. It's all yours, Michele.
Because it started probably as soon as the schedule came out.
And, yeah, I know what this is. Okay.
And it is. Are we going to boot camp? PD.
Oh
What
my
is
God.
this? I mean, and my friend Phil Paige, he's hilarious. If you don't follow him on Twitter, he does a lot of real funny tongue-in-cheek tweets. But he had one. He said, I hope the game doesn't get changed till midnight instead of 9, because then that would give people 3 more hours to debate whether or not you need to boo Cal. The things that I have seen for people justifying being nasty to Cal on his return. He needs to be booed because of how he deserted us, and all those recruits that went with him, they should be booed because they deserted us too. And I'm like, hello, I remember your tweets. You were the one saying, don't let him play. Don't let him play. Why the heck is he on our team? And now you're saying they deserted us when you said they had no right to be on the team in the first place. Shut your trap. You got no leg to stand on. And then when you go on about, well, Cal didn't do this and he didn't adjust it, and look at the hell he's put us through. I said, do you know the hell he pulled us out of? Do you know that? I remember that. I remember when y'all chased off Tubby. I remember that very clearly. That was a not very pretty time. And then they brought in Billy Clyde, who I thought maybe because he came out of a decent season, but he wasn't ready for Kentucky. No. And already with the drinking problem, and then you get here, if you think that Kentucky is going to cure your drinking problem, you are way, way
It makes it
misguided.
worse. It makes it so much worse.
So, we had really tumbled down, and it was not just like, when we won at Tennessee with Jody Meeks and 54 points, and Billy Clyde made Jody Meeks a villain. Dude, he probably kept you from getting fired mid-season, and we're not the University of Jody Meeks. Ugh. But that's where we were. We were so irrelevant, and Cal came in and
We're dead in the water.
instantly brought in. You get John Wall and Marcus. I mean, you come in instantly with name brand recruits, and you make an impact on college basketball the first season. He brought excitement back. He got it. He understood it. He did so many things for the university, things he was doing for other people that no one ever knew, that he didn't ask for publicity for. He was out helping people. He was visiting people in the hospital. He didn't ask for anybody to know that. He just did it. And yeah, okay, so it hasn't been good the last few years. But you don't just totally ignore 4 Final Fours and a national championship. You do not ignore that. Ask Tennessee how hard it is to get 4 or 5. No, ask them how hard it is to get 1 Final Four. Maybe one day they can answer the question, because they haven't been able to answer it yet. It's you don't discount all of that. And everybody's going, well, I'm going to boo him just like I would. He deserves the same nastiness I do for any Arkansas coach. Really? Really? Were you that nasty to Musselman? I don't think you were. You probably should have been. But Arkansas, outside of when Norm Richardson was there, they haven't been a rival.
Yeah, no.
There's no rivalry. So don't tell me it's this big rivalry and no, it wasn't. You're trying to justify hating somebody that really loved you all. And I'll grant you, because I remember sitting in those press conferences, and he could be very condescending. He could be very deflective of any questions you wanted to ask. Now, sometimes he would ask questions back to the media, and I'm sitting there on the front row, and I would kind of answer like this because I knew the answer of the question, but I didn't want to say it loud enough, because if he heard me and I was right, he might point me out, and then I'd be expected to talk, and I just I did, I'm not about that life, because if you're wrong, you live in infamy in the press room. So, I just answer very quietly. And every now and then he'd look at me. But there was a lot of things to be upset about. But why can you not give him an appreciative round of applause, respect him, show him that the big blue nation has this much class? We really do sometimes. Then when the game's on, you boo to your heart's content, because that's what you do to the opposing team.
Yeah.
Don't compare it to the Rick Pitino situation, because that was entirely different. John Calipari did not lie to us. Rick Pitino said, I'm never going anywhere, and 2 days later went to the Celtics. Lie one. Rick Pitino comes back, goes to Louisville, which is far more hated than Arkansas. That's why I brought up the rivalry thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough. He could have said, look, I wanted to be back in Kentucky. I couldn't get the Kentucky job. This is where I want to be. No. He went to Louisville and then said, if we couldn't understand and be happy for him, we were just small-minded. Really, Rick? So that was another thing. Then you come back in Rupp Arena and you lose. You get your butt handed to you. And then you flip everybody a finger. And then lie about it, even though it was captured on camera. So, he had all these different things. Cal has done none of those. And Cal has acknowledged he'll probably get booed.
Yeah.
I'm glad, for one, Ellen's not coming back. He said she's under the weather. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. I don't think he wants to subject her to what could be ugly because he has seen the Big Blue Nation at some of their ugliest. So I'm not again, just like I said earlier, I'm not telling you how to fan. But what I would like to see is respect where respect is due and booing when it's appropriate, which is during the game. And anytime one of those referees in a medium shirt decides that they got to be bigger than the game and go, look, it's me. I'm looking at the monitor. Check me out.
That's all they want. They want their TV time on the monitor. Okay, that's it. That's all they want.
That was my major rant.
Yeah, so
Can I tell you all that if Jimmy Doc announces this game,
he's calling. I think I heard he was calling.
He's already calling it.
Oh my God! I'm just
He
gonna
needs
have
to get on that stupid jet and fly far, far, far away and never make it. That's all he needs to do.
He is so obsessed with hating. Like, it's like he will glaze anybody that's not Kentucky. He just absolutely. I'm like, when he tweeted out the other day, like, great win for Kentucky. I'm like, is that probably you? Probably were gagging in your mouth having to write out that tweet.
How gritty was Tennessee during that game? Oh, the grit they're showing. And the grit's on the bottom of their shoes, and they're falling down and missing threes. That's all I got to say about your grit, Jimmy.
Oh, he is the worst.
Sorry, I'm on a roll with the. I'm just.
You are on a roll, Michele. They are rolling off your tongue right
Michele,
now.
should I stir the pot and ask you how you felt about Seth? What's his last name? Greenberg. About him saying we were all horrible people.
Well, and Seth, the one that really irritated the crap out of me this week was the one who came out from under whatever rock he's been under for
Dan Jackich?
Who admittedly would name search himself on Twitter because we wouldn't tag him. We wouldn't put, even when we would just go DD, he would find that and come back because he was that irrelevant. Don't tell me who could name a single one of Kentucky's players. A lot of people can because they've been kicking people's butts. So I stopped calling him DD. I just referred to him as Jockitch.
I just call him Dan Jockitch. It's not Jockitch, it's Jockitch. He doesn't deserve.
Apparently, he never name searched Jockitch, which is fine because that's actually more descriptive of what he is. But Seth Greenberg, he's trying to tell us, and he's always been a Cal apologist, and that is his choice, and he could find some ways to justify how he felt, and that's fine because there was enough people out there hating. But no, Cal had a choice.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Cal made his choice. I think Cal did what was the honorable thing.
I'll say the university $30 million.
Unlike Mark Stoops, who won't do the honorable thing.
Okay. I have a rule. We can't have a football yet because it's too soon. Okay. Well, it's too soon.
I'm just comparing.
It is too soon. I agree with you completely. It is too soon. Okay. I cannot deal with the frustration right now. I cannot.
Shout out to Chase in the group chat because I have never seen anyone hate Mark Stoops more than he does. The way he talks about him, like when that comes around, he's not a woman. When football season comes around, I know he's not a woman, but we need to get a clip of him talking or something because he is the biggest Mark Stoops hater.
I'm for it. Okay, back to the Arkansas game. Now, UK should not have a problem winning this game. With Lamont, without Lamont, we should not have a problem. Arkansas is down Boogie Flan, which is their point guard. They still have DJ Wagner. Okay, they're not a good shooting team. Pick and rolls still give them hell. Okay, it's the Cal thing. Like it's always been a issue with Cal. I will tell you though, Adu Thiero scares the hell out of me. I don't know who we have to guard him the entire game. He's 6'8", I think. Extremely physical, very aggressive. Like I don't know who we put on him that he either won't go around or he's not going to bully like the whole game.
Amari could be a good option.
Who's gonna guard Adu? Or Z for that matter. Like
I think Oway could take on anybody. That boy has no fear.
That's true. I'm saying that. Like I agree with you. I do Thiero too though. I could see him getting Amari in foul trouble really easy, which is a problem. Just because of because of how he plays, right? Like that's the only thing is just how he plays, and I love him. Don't get me wrong, like I will always be a fan. Um, but he's the only one that I'm like, damn, like you are a matchup problem.
He has done very well, I think, over there.
He's
But
their
yeah.
team half the time.
You have to take into consideration we don't know emotionally. The whole focus has been on Cal, but
Yeah.
on DJ and on Adu and on
Big Z.
Big Z. They loved the Big Blue Nation. They did, and this has got to be. It's kind of a big deal. And Cal said he was meeting with them to let them know, they're going to experience some emotions, and that can have a very not positive impact on their games collectively, where they're trying too hard or they're distracted.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it will, but that is something that can certainly come into play for this game. I still think, if you're going to let Adu, you want to keep everybody out of foul trouble, let Adu do his thing. Let Adu do his thing. Adu. Okay. I'm way off the beaten path, but he is not going to beat us by himself. We can go 5-on-1. It's kind of like back in the day. Again, I'm showing my age when we had to play LSU with Pete Maravich. You can't guard Pete Maravich. You just can't. You let him get his 40 points and the rest of your team scores, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, are anybody ever going to guard him? Nope, we're not. We're just going to score with everybody else. Yep. And that's how we beat them a lot with Pete Maravich. So maybe that's that might be our tactic.
I'm also curious how John L. Davis will do, because he has not had the year that they are paying him to have.
Yeah, he has not.
Like, they dropped a bag on him, and he
got injured from it. Sorry.
He is not performing to the bag standards, okay? So I'm curious. But yeah, obviously Big Z is always a problem because he can shoot so well from the outside, right? Like, he's kind of like the Millicent guy or whatever, how you say his name, from Tennessee. Like, you have to have a hand in his face at all times, just because he can shoot so well. But he's also been playing very inconsistent minutes. Like, there's no set rotation with Big Z in the lineup.
And that was like last year when, we waited forever and then he finally got cleared to play, came out, hitting threes, doing everything. And then we didn't see him do anything else for the next 4 games. So, loved him, but consistency has been his Achilles heel.
Yeah. That brings me to this point, though. I need your all score predictions and MVPs for the game. Paige, go first.
I'm going to say I would like us to break. I don't think we'll break 100. We might, but I'm going to say 95. I'll give them 95 to 82. That's being generous.
I don't think they score that high, to be fair.
They might, honestly, I said that was being generous. That's probably right. I'll say 95 to, we'll drop it down 10. I'll give them 72.
Oh, we spanking them. All right. All right. I feel it. All right, Michelle. Oh, no, Paige, sorry. MVP.
Oh, my MVP. I'm going to say Ansley. I'm going to say he's going to pop up. He's going to come and have his game, and he's going to pop off. So Ansley is going to be my MVP.
Okay.
Well, I do think we're going to bust 100, unlike my colleagues here. Because, and I think it's all going to come down to, if we get off to a quick start, bye Hogs, just gone.
Yeah.
Because once we get rolling, we're going to keep rolling. I say it's going to be 102, 85. I'm going to be generous.
You're going to be generous? Okay.
I'm trying to be nice here.
And I keep flip-flopping. I kind of want to I want Brea to have another one of these big days where he just doesn't miss. But, and Salena can vouch for this. I have just been a big Oway fan all year. It just does so many things. And I'm going for Oway.
Oway is your MVP?
Oway.
All right. So here's my thing with them scoring, okay? And they have not scored over 83 points. No, I lied. Hold on. They haven't scored. Oh my God. Hold on. Pause. Let me rewind on that one. They have not scored over. Oh wow, that's terrible. 74 points in the entire SEC tournament so far, or tournament, the season so far. Their highest is 74, and that was against LSU, and they lost that game. So they're very similar to Tennessee in their regard that they're not a good scoring team at all. So do I go big or not go big? Here's the thing. I think the emotion will be so much in that gym that our boys are gonna ride that emotion. Like they are going to go with it. I'm feeling like a 97 to like 64. That's what I'm feeling. Like I am feeling an absolute smackdown.
Well, I was being generous. I'm going to let them score a few in garbage time.
Well, that's my thing. They haven't scored higher than freaking 74 the entire like SEC season. Like, come on now. Now, here's my thing. Now, this is what I really want to happen. Okay, like in my heart of hearts, I want TP, Travis Parrott, and Trent Noah to go absolutely off because Cal told Travis he never played wasn't good enough. Okay, they told me never played wasn't good enough, and he never even recruited Trent Noah. Okay, like I want them to go absolutely off. But knowing that their minutes will probably be limited just because of the nature of the game when they're freshmen, I still hope they both do some things and make him regret it. But whatever. I think my MVP though.
It's tough, isn't it?
I'm gonna go Jackson. Because at one point he was committed to play at Arkansas, and I know it's for Musselman. I know there's bad blood there, but he went off against A&M too as former school. So I feel like Jackson feeds off of that like kind of past emotion a little bit. And I don't know if they can guard him, to be fair.
Well, that means all he can do is like talk to the trainers or something.
I don't think they can guard him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nobody that rejected him is on that bench, so it's not like he can like look at Cal and go, "See, you didn't blame me."
But it's still the fact that it's a former school, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. He can talk to the trainers.
That'll hold some emotion.
You and Rando was talking about how sometimes Amari is like you want him to be this big man, and then he comes in as like Paddington because he's like. And as soon as you all were talking about it, I was like, I knew exactly what you're talking about. But I was like, the whole time I'm like, I pretty much talk to you all through my stereo while I'm driving. You all just can't hear me, but I'm talking back. Don't worry. But I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I agree. He is like, there are sometimes he comes out and he dominates and he does good. But then there's times he's a big teddy bear. But I want him to come out against Arkansas, and I want him to be DeMarcus Cousins. Yes. I want him to come out and just be, because he's a big boy. Like he's 7 foot, but he's a big boy. He should be able to own that. So I'm like, you need to go and watch some reels of DeMarcus Cousins, and I need you to embody that. And we need you to not be as much of a teddy bear.
Or Willie Cauley-Stein.
But toward that end, Mark Pope recognizes that there's a lot of emotion in this game, and he said that. And this was, of course, after giving Cal many accolades, and he's been a great friend. He's been a great mentor. He's done nothing but help me.
So freaking nice. He won't talk bad about a fly, okay?
Well, now, like he was getting really upset with that ref that one night. We went, oh my gosh.
And then
he had his hands on his hips. He did that.
That's it's serious. When his hands are on his hips.
He also said he understood what this was for Big Blue Nation. And when Pope knows there's a big, you take Louisville. I know what that is. He knows what this is. Yeah. And he will communicate that to his players, much like, with the Tennessee game, that's a big game. Speaking of which, did Rick Barnes ever stand up during that entire game? I've never seen a coach
sit the entire time like that.
Just sit the entire time. Yeah, let Dan Hurley try it. Oh,
Don't look, I can want to rant for him.
One of my favorite pictures is of Rick Barnes, and he's just on the chair. It's like his hands are over his face. You can tell that he has at that point, like, he has just thought, what is going on? Because you know that they went in there thinking that they were going to stomp us because we were out, for sure one of our starters, but,
What
you
happens
know,
when you assume
it's
all
my
you people who weren't
favorite.
going to watch the game? All right, covered that rant.
All right. Okay. So those are our score predictions, MVP predictions, and a whole lot else. This might be one of my favorite episodes yet because this was amazing.
And no alcohol was needed.
We are
But
still
there
doing
will
After
be
Dark,
alcohol
Michelle. Okay,
Saturday.
listen. That reminds me, BBN. We are having a watch along at I think Gillum's on Saturday. Come hang out,
I'll be
get
there.
some beer bucket specials, whatever else. We'll be there. We'll be hanging out.
You
Um,
want to see the spit
I'll
soccer
be
in the
home
flesh.
enjoying the view of my snow-free parking lot. That's what I'll be doing.
both shit talkers will be there. Okay, so
Yeah, there'll be a
we're
lot
gonna
of
team
hip hop
up, and
fans.
it's gonna be chaos, and it's fine. It's perfectly fine. But we want to know your score predictions and your MVP predictions and what you think about the upcoming game. I don't want the replies full of booing or not booing. I'm so tired of the argument. I'm just gonna
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
mute the
I'm ready
word
for the
boo.
And you've
Okay,
covered all of that already, so you don't even have to mention it. I've
Go
told
back
you.
but
around to Michelle's rant.
turn in for Michelle's 4 mini rants of the podcast. Um, but yeah, no. So, ladies, thanks for joining me. Obviously,
Oh, this is a
and
blast.
this was a lot of fun. And by the time you guys hear this tomorrow, it will be out.
And
And
Paige is no longer a podcast virgin.
No, that's okay.
yes,
And
yes.
next, you know what? Next, we're gonna have to start hosting our own spaces on Twitter. Really
I've done
getting
it
them
before. We'll have to
riled
do
up.
that. Oh yeah, we'll have to do
That'd
that
be
because it's
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. But all right, ladies, thanks for joining me. BBN, drop your comments tomorrow when this drops. And as always, go Cats.
And go Krogering.
Go Mark Pope.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Bleed Blue Network podcast. We hope you enjoyed diving deep into the world of Kentucky sports with us. Don't forget to stay connected by following us on Twitter at BleedBNation. Your feedback means the world to us. So take a moment to leave a review. Not only does it help us improve, but it also helps others discover the show. Until next time, keep cheering, keep listening, and keep bleeding blue.